Attention, duelists. Phoenix here, bringing you another Watch and Learn Monday, starting your week off, right? Oh, new gate spread to solo mode for Dreamier cards. Might do some of that in the future. But as I've said many times, I'm a man of the now. Person of the now. I'm of the now. And right now, we gotta watch some duels. Ooh, we have Ojama Thunder Dragon. Summon Armed Dragon Thunder level 3, pitching Ojama Black to bring out level 5. Level 5 will pitch the green in their hand to summon level 7. They will set Call of the Haunted and pass. Not a tremendous turn. Their opponent summons Buster Whelp of the Destruction Swordsman, which adds a prologue of Destruction Swordsman in hand. Then they use Destruction Swordsman Fusion to fuse their own Buster Blader with the opponent's Armed Dragon Thunder level 7 to make the Buster Blader Dragon Destroyer Swordsman. They set to and pass. Duelist A will set Sea Crush Wyvern and pass. Passes to the Buster player. They activate Prologue of the Destruction Swordsman, which will bring out Buster Dragon by sending away the Buster Blader, the Destruction Swordmaster. Buster Whelp will then use its effect, attributing itself to revive Buster Blader. The Destruction Swordmaster Fusion will swing into Sea Crush Wyvern and do a bunch of pierce damage. Player will activate Call of the Haunted to revive their Crush Wyvern. Their opponent will activate Destruction Sword Flash. Oh, using its effect to banish all monsters the opponent controls, and allowing their Buster Blader to go direct for the big finish. Powerful plays from the Buster Blader. Let's go next and see what else is waiting for us. We have some kind of Link player, and their opponent is doing who knows what. Duelist B went first, and they will pass turn, doing nothing. Duelist A will summon Parlor Dragon Maid. Duelist B counters with an Imperm. Parlor Dragon Maid will link off into Guard Dragon Pisty. Duelist B will attempt to use Fantastical Dragon Phantasme, but it will be stopped by Ash Blossom. Pisty will banish itself to summon the Red Eyes Darkness Dragon, which was its effect to revive Parlor. Moving into battle, Parlor will tag out for Lorpar, which Lorpar and Darkness Metal will both swing direct. During the end of main phase 2, player will bring out Nibiru, the Primal Being, summoning a big rock to their opponent's field, which they currently cannot get over. Player activates Lullaby of Obedience, declaring Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring to add their opponent's one to their hand. Then activates Signet Mining, pitching Phantasme to add 4 Mud Skipper. They summon 4 Mud Skipper and link it off, making it a Salamangreat Balinx. 4 Mud Skipper will use its effect, and Balinx will chain. Balinx adds a Salamangreat Sanctuary. 4 Mud Skipper adds a Parallel Exceed to hand. Player activates Sanctuary, and Balinx will then link off into another Balinx as its own material. Parallel Exceed will then summon itself to its own Balinx points to, and then summon out a twin. Balinx and 1 Exceed will make Splash Mage. Splash Mage will target the Parallel Exceed and bring it back. Both Parallel Exceeds will go into Update Jammer. I think we know where this is going, into Access Code Talker. Yes, it is. Update Jammer will allow Access Code Talker to attack twice. Access Code Talker will target Update Jammer to gain 2,000 attack. He will banish Balinx to pop his opponent's back row. He'll banish Update Jammer to pop the token. Then he will swing twice with access code for game. Actually, his opponent's going to activate Dragon Maid Tiding, attempting to banish it to use its effect. But the player will pitch the Ghost Bell and Haunted Mansion to negate its effect. And access code's attack for game goes through. Weird Link beats Dragon Maid Link. I think we've got a Marincess control deck here. Their opponent activates Signet Mining, pitching Ash Blossom. Player will chain a Max C to it. And the player will then use their second Ash Blossom to stop that. They should have known that their opponent had that, but there's no other time to really use Max C. But they do know their opponent is down 2 Ash Blossoms. And they add their own Marincess Seahorse to hand. This could be a mirror match. Player will summon Seahorse and turn it into Blue Slug. Slug will add Seahorse back to hand. Then Seahorse will summon itself to the zone that Slug points to and turn to Sea Angel. Sea Angel will attempt to use its effect, and the player will chain Phantasme to it. And then the Marincess player will use their own Max C. Max C will resolve, but Phantasme is summoned. Then adds a couple of cards and sends them back, getting rid of cards that were not useful. They sent back Dimensional Barrier and Marincess Basilima. There, third try. And they kept Effect Veiler and Marincess Seahorse. Their opponent drew Battle Ocean due to Sea Angel, which they will activate, and then link off both the Marincesses for Coral Anemone. Battle Ocean will turn the Link monster in the grave into equip cards for Coral Anemone. And player will activate Effect Veiler, attempting to negate the effect of Anemone, but Effect Veiler will be hit by a Called By. Duelist A has all the answers today. Coral Anemone will summon back the Seahorse, which Anemone and Seahorse will then link together to make Coral Triangle. Anemone will chain, and Battle Ocean will chain as Link 2. Link 2 will equip some Link monsters to Triangle, and Seahorse is added back to hand. Triangle will use its effect, pitching the Seahorse to add Marincess Wave to hand. They will then set to and pass. Dual Speed draws Called By, not a great hand. They will set to, turn Phantasme to attack mode, and pass. Their opponent will go into battle phase, and Coral Triangle will swing over the Phantasme. And then they will end turn. Passes back to Duelist B. The Drummer Incest dive. They summon Seahorse and turn her into Blue Slug. She will attempt to add, but their opponent will use Effect Veiler. Effect Veiler, ironically, will be hit by Called By the Grave for the second time in this match. Then, Duelist A is going to use Forbidden Droplet, getting rid of one of their Link monsters to negate the effect of Blue Slug. One of their Link equip monsters, I should specify. At the end of resolution, Blue Slug does not resolve. Player activates Marincess Dive, targeting Seahorse and summoning her. Then Seahorse is linked off into Sea Angel. Sea Angel adds Battle Ocean to hand, which will then be activated. Both Marincesses will be linked off into Coral Anemone again. Battle Ocean will attempt to use its effect. Player will chain Marincess Wave, which will be hit by Solemn Judgment. I believe Duelist B is going to be able to take control this turn. Marincess Wave is negated. Battle Ocean will equip Anemone. Anemone will then target Seahorse and summon it back to the field, which Seahorse and Anemone will then link together to make Coral Triangle. Battle Ocean will chain in from Coral Anemone. Anemone will add Seahorse back to hand. Seahorse is summoned. And then we'll link with Triangle to make Aqua Argonaut. Battle Ocean will equip Aqua Argonaut with 3 link monsters, and it will swing over the opponent's Coral Triangle, and they will pass turn. They set their called by and pass. Duelist A will use Coral Triangle's effect, banishing itself. And they will activate Called by the Grave, targeting Coral Anemone. Coral Anemone is banished. Triangle's effect will not resolve. Seahorse will banish itself to allow them to special summon Sleepy Maiden. And they will pass turn. Duelist B draws Marincess Spring Girl, who they will summon and then link off into another Blue Slug. Blue Slug will target Seahorse, and Spring Girl will chain. She sends 2 cards away. One of them is a Marincess, so they do 200 damage. Seahorse is added back to hand. Aqua Argonaut will bounce Slug and their opponent's monster, then summon Seahorse to the zone that Aqua Argonaut points to make Sea Angel. Sea Angel will add Marincess Dive to hand, which will be activated, summoning out a Blue Tang. Blue Tang will use its effect, milling away their own Sleepy Maiden, and then will turn to Splash Mage. Blue Tang will let them look at a couple of cards and keep one, keeping a Spring Girl. Splash Mage will summon back Blue Tang, and they will make Crystal Heart. Spring Girl will banish Seahorse to summon herself, and then she and Crystal Heart will make Coral Anemone. Moving to battle, they swing with Anemone and Aqua Argonaut for game. Marincess beats Marincess. We got a dragon mid player here, or at least some sort of dragon. They use the effect of Dictator of D, sending away a Blue Eyes to attempt to summon itself. Their opponent will chain Max C, and there is no response. Dictator will summon itself. Then will use its effect to pitch the other Dictator in hand to summon Blue Eyes to the field, beating their opponent's Max C. They then pass turn. They did not have a great opener. Their opponent will set the Pendulum Scale with Double Iris, and then activate Duelist Alliance to add a Star Pendulum Graph to hand. They will activate the Pendulum Graph, and then set the other scale with Performapal Pendulum Sorcerer. They'll bring out Celestial Magician and Harmonizing Magician with their Pendulum Summon. Their effects will activate. Harmonizing Magician will summon Oath Dragon, and Celestial will gain stats. And then Double Iris will be popped by the effect of its own effect, targeting Celestial Magician. Star Pendulum Graph will activate in response, and Double Iris will activate for being destroyed. Pendulum Graph will add Time Pendulum Graph to hand, and Wisdom Eye Magician is added. They set Wisdom Eye in the scale, and then use its effect, destroying itself to replace itself with Purple Poison. Then Oath Dragon and Celestial Magician will turn to Electromite. Electromite will use its effect, sending Skull Crobat Joker to the extra deck, and then destroying their Purple Poison Magician to add Purple Poison Magician to their hand. Electromite will then allow them to draw a card, and they will normal summon Luster Pendulum, the Draco Slayer, and then set Purple Poison in the scale again. Electromite and Harmonizing will then link together to make Celine Queen of the Master Magicians. Celine will gain 4 counters. They'll move into battle, and because they are able to use Dictator of D to determine their opponent's attack targets, they will make them attack their Blue Eyes in defense mode. Celine and Luster Pendulum Graph will go into Appaloosa, who will only have 2 shots of her effect. A Royal Rare Appaloosa, Celestial Magician's effect in the end phase will let them add Harmonizing Magician to hand. And they passes. Blue Eyes player might have a chance. They activate Raigeki. Their opponent will activate Time Pendulum Graph. And they're going to just target Purple Poison and Dictator of D, destroying both. Raigeki will go off, getting rid of Appaloosa. Star Pendulum Graph and Purple Poison will activate. Purple Poison was destroyed, so it will target Blue Eyes. They'll activate their own Maxi. Purple Poison destroys Blue Eyes. Star Pendulum Graph adds Wisdom Eye Magician to hand. Blue Eyes player passes turn. Opponent has 4 cards in hand. They set a Wisdom Eye Magician in the Pendulum Scale. Use the effect to destroy itself and swap out for Black Fang. Star Pendulum Graph will add Oath Dragon to hand. They will then Pendulum Summon Oath Dragon, 2 Celestials, and a Harmonizing. Star Pendulum Graph Perform Power Pendulum Sorcerer effect will activate as a Harmonizing. Harmonizing brings out another Oath Dragon, which Oath Dragon and Harmonizing will make Baron de Fleur. Moving into battle, Baron will swing, as will Celestial, both of them for game. Pendulum beats Brick Eyes. Whoop, wrong button. Let's move on to the next one. Alright, we have a Weather Painters. Their opponent summons Moye, which reveals Adhara. They will blast a Maxi at this, hope it goes off. And it does. They'll draw 1, and they will actually stop summoning after setting 1. Player draws Radiant for turn. Tributes their opponent's Moye to summon Radiant, then summons Jizukiru. And then they summon the Weather Painter Snow. They set their skill drain. They use Snow's effect. Their opponent will activate Infinite and Permanence in response, negating Snow's effect. Moving into battle, Jizukiru will swing over Radiant, and they will pass turn. Their opponent summons Ecclesia. They activate Skill Drain in response to her summoning. Ecclesia will chain her effect to be able to use it at all, and she will swap out for a Taya. Skill Drain has resolved. Long One will pitch the Adhara in their hand to summon itself and a token, which will then go into Baron de Fleur, which actually, Jizukiru, just by virtue of being bigger than Baron while Skill Drain is on field, will be fine. I apologize, I have sneezed. Long One will deal 1200 damage. Then the Moye, the Taya, and the token will make an Adamancipator. Player attempts to use Baron's effect to destroy Skill Drain, but is negated. Baron will swing over the snow and pass turn. Player draws Podrick Extravagance, activates, banishing 6. Risen Dragite attempts to use its effect to stop it, but it is still negated by Skill Drain. Player will tribute their opponent's Dragite to make Gamma Seal, and then Jizukiru will swing over Baron de Fleur. Passes to the Sword Soul player. They turn the Gamma Seal they were given to defense mode and pass. Kaiju Weather Painters sets 1. Jizukiru swings over Gamma Seal. Pass turn. Sword Soul player draws. Sets 1 back row, sets 1 monster, passes. Kaiju player draws Solemn Judgment. Tributes their opponent's monster for a Radiant. Sets a Solemn Judgment. Turns Weather Painter Sun into attack mode and summons Weather Painter Cloud. Jizukiru swings over the Radiant they gave their opponent. Then Sun and Snow will swing direct for a combined 31. During main phase 2, both the Weather Painters are going to be overlaid into Chronomaly Crystal Chronaut. I guess just to make it something bigger. Their opponent sets one more back row and passes. They draw Weather's Rainbowed Canvas. During the battle phase, they will swing direct with Jizukiro. Their opponent will blast a Max C just to play something, and the Chronaut will swing for game. Skill Drain wins. Okay, we have another Pendulum player. They summon Skullcrobat Joker, who will add Wisdom Eye Magician to their hand. They set Oath Dragon in the Pendulum Scale and Wisdom Eye Magician in the other. Wisdom Eye will destroy itself to swap out for double Iris, and then they will Pendulum Summon. Bringing out all of their cards, Harmonizing, Purple Poison, Black Fang, and Wisdom Eye. Harmonizing brings out a Celestial. They'll make a Verte Anaconda using the Skullcrobat Joker and the Wisdom Eye Magician they brought out from the extra deck. Then, using the Black Fang Magician and the Celestial that they had, they will make Supreme King Dragon Starving Venom. They'll make a second Starving Venom. Verte Anaconda will activate Instant Fusion, making Leerlusk Independent Nightingale. Both of his Starving Venom Dragons will target Independent Nightingale and copy its effects, and then use the effect to burn for 4,000 twice. Well, that was sickening. I am disgusted. I am sorry you all had to bear witness to that. God have mercy on our souls. Alright, we got Scrap, Orcust player. So just Orcust, really. They summon Scrap Recycler, who will send away Jet Synchron. Jet Synchron will pitch the Scrap Golem in hand to summon itself to the field. Then Jet Synchron and Scrap Golem are going to link together to make Scrap Wyvern. Scrap Wyvern will target the Golem in the grave and summon it back, and then destroy itself. Scrap Golem will then summon back the Scrap Recycler. Scrap Recycler will then send away Orchestrated or World Wand. And then the Golem and the Recycler are going to link together for Lib, the World Key Blade Master. Their opponent will activate Nibiru, and they will chain a Max C to Nibiru. Nibiru tributes Lib, summoning itself, and a token. A very weak token. Player sets 2 called bys and passes. A well-timed Nibiru to ruin their opponent's turn. Duelist A summons Shiranui Solitaire and uses its effect to tribute itself, but it will get hit by a called by to stop the bringing out of a zombie tuner. Still, with just the Nibiru on board, they do have a bit more power than their opponent. They turn the token to attack mode and swing over the token that they've given their opponent, set 1 back row, and pass turn. Back to the Orcust player. Orcust player draws Orcust Nightmare. They set the field spell for no reason. Their opponent activates Needlebug Nest to send the top 5 cards of their deck to the graveyard. They're actually playing Skull Servants. Duelist A draws for turn now. Summon King of the Skull Servants, who is at 4,000. Nibiru and the King will swing direct for a combined 7,000. Duelist B is at 1,000 and on the back foot. The King and Nibiru are going to be linked together to make Nightmare Phoenix. Nightmare Phoenix will pitch a Mizuki to pop the Orcust field spell of Orchestrated Babble. Player draws Harp Horror, they might have a chance. Orchestrated Babble will pitch Orcust Nightmare to add itself back to hand. And they'll then activate Babble. Orcust Nightmare will banish itself and give Nightmare Phoenix a bit of a boost, and also be able to send Symbol Skeleton to the graveyard. World Wand will banish itself to target Orcust Nightmare and summon it to the field. Player then summons Harp Horror, and the two will link together for Galatea, the Orcust Android. She will use her effect to send World Wand back and set Orcust Crescendo. Harp Horror will banish itself from the graveyard to summon Girsu, the Orcust Mech Knight, who will send away another World Wand. Then Girsu and Galatea are going to link together to make Long Girsu, the Orchestrator. Going into battle, Orchestrator will swing over Nightmare Phoenix. Passes to the opponent. Summoning a Skull Servant may be enough to finish him off. Player summons White Prince and uses effect to not use effect, links itself off for relinquished anima pointed at Langirsu. White Prince will activate its effect being sent in the graveyard, and player will chain the Symbol Skeleton. Langirsu's effect will activate in response to Symbol Skeleton banishing itself. Two monsters will be returned to the extra deck from the banish zone to the deck, and Langirsu will bounce away the anima. Symbol Skeleton's effect will then summon Orcus Nightmare, and the Prince will send away a couple of cards. Prince will then banish 3 to attempt to add a card to hand. A player will counter with an Orcus Crescendo. Mizuki will activate its effect, banishing itself to summon King of the Skull Servants. But King of the Skull Servants will be targeted by Called by the Grave. Mizuki has no target. Player activates Different Dimension Capsule, targeting Solitaire, Mizuki, and White Prince, and then back into the graveyard. Mizuki's effect is not a once per turn. It will be used again to summon Sirinui Solitaire. Solitaire will tribute itself to summon a Unizombie. Unizombie will send away a White Baking to adjust levels. White Baking will add King of Skull Servants to hand and a White Prince. He will pitch the White Prince in his hand, and then banish 3 to summon a King of Skull Servants to the field, which will then link with Unizombie to make Nightmare Cerberus. Cerberus is going to use its effect, pitching 1 to pop the Orcus Nightmare. Orcus Nightmare will banish itself to boost up Langirsu's stats and send a card to the graveyard, sending away another Harp Horror. Harp Horror will banish itself. Player pass turn. Harp Horror banishes itself to summon Skimble Skeleton. World Wand will banish itself to resummon the banished Harp Horror. Harp Horror and Symbol Skeleton are going to link together to make IP Masquerena. Symbol Skeleton will banish itself from the graveyard to summon back Galatea. Galatea will target World Wand in the banish zone, send it back into the deck. Then IP and Galatea are going to link together to make Topologic Bomber Dragon. Bomber Dragon swings over Kerberos. Then, using its effect, deals damage equal to the attack of the monster destroyed. Langirsu then swings direct. Passes turn. After setting Crossout Designator, Duelist A activates Mystical Space Typhoon, destroying the Crossout. Summons White Princess, who will send away a White Prince to the graveyard. Langirsu will target 2 of his banished cards, return to the deck, and pass turn. Orcus player starts their turn off, drawing Effect Veiler. Topologic Bomber swings over the White Princess, and then its effect does the final blow of damage. Orcus beats Skull Servants. Oh man, Orcus does a lot. Specifically a lot during their opponent's turn. Okay, we have some sort of Utopia deck. Maybe. Player summons Summoner Monk. It will pitch their Upstart Goblin to summon an Ascended Sage, and then the 2 will make Utopia. Being made with Ascended Sage will add a Hyper Rank Up Magic Utopia Force to the hand. They'll turn Utopia into Utopia Ray, then activate the Hyper Rank Up Magic, turning Utopia Ray into Utopia Dragonar. Dragonar uses its effect, attaching 2 to summon Numeron Dragon. Rank Up Force will equip itself onto Numeron Dragon, which will then detach the card to make itself a 13,000 attack point monster. They will then activate, pass turn, during the opponent's draw phase, activate Destruct Potion, targeting Numeron, and chaining into Dragonar's effect. Dragonair will summon number 43, Manipulator of Souls. No way. Number 43, Manipulator of Souls effect. Once per turn, you can attach one X control from this card. Target one number monster in your graveyard. Equip that target to this card. While equipped with a number card, this card can be destroyed by card effects, battle, or card effects. Once per turn, when you gain life points, you can make this card gain an equal amount of attack. Also, inflict that much damage to your opponent if this card is still face up on the field. Manipulator of Souls is now on the field. Destruct Potion is going to destroy Numeron Dragon and heal him for 13,000. Then Manipulator of Souls will gain that 13,000 attack points and then inflict that much damage. They gain life points. Manipulator of Souls gains stats and blows up his opponent. Good fucking God. Well, duelists, I would love to keep going with this video, but that has set me on my ass. That was awesome. Oh, wow. I really want to try that now. That was dumb. That should not have worked, but it's so cool that it did. Oh, man. But to be frank with you, duelists, I do have other things I have to get to today, because the real world does not like me making a career out of streaming. But damn them, I'll do it anyway. All that's a fancy way of saying that this is going to be a short video this Monday, and that it is the end of this short video. If you caught the stream, thanks for watching. If you catch the replay, thanks for that too. Goodbye.